Soon to God could be 2,000 years from now. Soon to us might be today. We may go to meeting today. Not literally, but put ourselves in a position where we will meet him, right? So, who knows? Anyway, there are some similarities in Daniel and in Revelation. I think there are a lot. And they're looking at this from two perspectives. Really, Daniel lived 2,600 plus years ago, something like that. And the visions that Daniel saw were all, well, I should say were all future. They were partly present to him and then all in the future, right? I mean, Daniel had his vision and he was living in the first kingdom. John, on the other hand, when he had his vision, he was living pretty much at the height of the Roman Empire, not the papal Roman, not the Roman Empire, not the papacy. But John was living in the heyday of the Roman Empire. And he was looking back in time to Daniel's day, but he was also looking forward to our day and beyond. So these visions that we see in Daniel 7 and Revelation 13 are pretty much the same. And I'm reading NIV. It reads a little different from King James. Remember last time I was up here we talked about Revelation chapter 12. Revelation chapter 12 is dealing with the devil and the period of persecution and so forth in the wilderness, the church and all. And we leave chapter 12. So the dragon was enraged with the woman and went off to make war with the rest of her children who keep the commandments of God and to hold to the testimony of Jesus. And then starting in Revelation 13, and it takes up, and the dragon stood on the sand of the seashore. King James says, I, John, standing on the sand of the shore. I like this better than I do. I think it's a little more explanatory. Who were we talking about? We were talking about the dragon. Okay, so the dragon here in Revelation 13:1 is standing on the seashore. Okay, who is this dragon? Well, this dragon is Satan. Same one that we see up here revealed in Revelation chapter 12, first, especially verse 3. So we're talking about one and the same thing. And this dragon is standing on the seashore, and from the seashore comes a beast rises out of the seashore, out of the sea. And we also see that Daniel 7 is dealing with a beast. But anyway, we'll find that it's the dragon who gives this beast that is coming up out of the sea his power and his authority. And not only that, when you get to Revelation 13, when you get past verse 10, verse 11, then you saw another beast. So we're going to have a beast, and then you're going to have an image to the beast. And it doesn't make any difference when we talk about the beast, when we talk about the image, we find that it's the dragon who empowers both of them. Okay. So if we're talking about the beast, the power that he had came from the dragon. If we worship that beast, then we're worshiping the dragon. We're devil worshipers. You know that? And on the other hand, though, if we get past verse 11, we find that we go to worship the image of the beast, or we bow down to the image of the beast, or we're controlled by that image of the beast, then we are still giving obedience to who? The dragon, the devil. So it makes no difference here, all right, even though John sees it in this form. And the dragon stood on the sand of the seashore. Well, what does the sand of the seashore represent? The oceans, the water, the sea indicates a place that was very much populated. So we see this dragon coming up out of a heavily populated place, which would be the old world. All right, as distinguished once we get into the other half of Revelation 13, we see the one coming up out of the land. All right, and the dragon stood on the sand of the seashore. Then I saw a beast coming up out of the sea, having 10 horns and 7 heads. And these horns and heads represent kingdoms and powers. All right, we'll get into that a little more when we look at Daniel a little deep. And on his horn were 10 diadems. Okay, this diadem or diademata, that's the word for a a crown like we normally think of a crown. Not the Stephanos, the victor's crown that the Christian wears, okay? We're not going to have golden crowns with jewels and diamonds in them, okay? Ours is going to be like a laurel wreath, all right, a victor's wreath. So, but this always indicates royalty, whether it would be heavenly royalty or false royalty. So these powers, kind of these kingdoms, that he saw on their head 10 diadems of crowns, and on his heads were blasphemous names. Well, when we use the word blasphemy, if we're using it against a man, it's a railing, it's directed against men, it's impious speech. When against God, well, against men, it is railing or slander. All right, so if we blaspheme someone, we're railing against him or we slander him. But if we blaspheme God, what are we doing? Impious speech. Now, what can that include? That can include an awful lot of things, right? It can include cursing, but it can also include implying for yourself power that belongs to God or the heavenly realm. And we'll find that this is what it's talking about. Anyway, these horns, they had the crowns on their horns representing the kingdoms, and there were names of blasphemy on their heads, okay? The Revelation 13:2, and the beast which I saw was like a leopard, and his feet were like those of a bear, and his mouth like the mouth of a lion, okay? We'll find that Daniel, when he saw a beast that was just like this, only different, right? Also, it came up in a reverse order. When you find Daniel, it was the lion, the leopard, the bear, or whatever you see. And the lion, the bear, and the leopard, and then this other beast. But Daniel was looking at it from the time forward. John was looking back. So he gives it in reverse order. And the dragon gave him his power and his throne and great authority. Okay, the dragon in this case, right here, look, it represents the Roman Empire. The power succeeding the Roman Empire was what? Papal Rome. Okay, so when we talk about the Roman Empire or the Papal Rome, the dragon was one that gave them their power. Now let's turn to Daniel chapter 7 and read 2 or 3 verses. Daniel chapter 7, verse 7. After this, I kept looking at night vision, and behold, a fourth beast. Okay, Daniel sees the 3 beasts, which included Babylon, Medo-Persia, and the Greek, or Alexander the Great, the Greek Empire. And then after this, he saw a fourth beast. A fourth beast, dreadful and terrifying and extremely strong, and it had large iron teeth. It devoured and crushed and trampled down the remainder with its feet, and it was different from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. The fourth beast, what was the fourth beast in Daniel? What do you think it was? It was the Roman Empire. Now, I've got some facts and figures that I had to write down. I couldn't remember it all. And when I read, I'm just about as phony as a comic book. But bear with me, okay? I mean, I think we need some figures, okay? This is out of the commentary, by the way. Daniel 7:7. The fourth beast was the Roman Empire. Its rise was gradual. You know, it's hard to put a finger on the time when the Roman Empire started. It's also hard to put a finger exactly on the spot when the empire shifted from the papacy, or from the Roman Empire to the papacy. We have a general date. And we also, now we know basically the date that the papacy, we know the date that the Pope received the deadly wound. No, we know that, but the Roman Empire started to declining long before the deadly wound was given. So all of these, you have a time for it to build up, and then you have a time for it to ebb. And do you know,